We're back in the warehouse for Blitzball Battle 4. The father-son duo shoves on the mound. Let's talk Blitzball. Welcome to the Blitzball Boys, the podcast about ball sports and warehouse, but lately about boys. Oh. I'm your co-host, Brendan Ruppel, along with my fellow host, Peter Del Rey.
Hey, Brendan. I love that this father-son narrative is taking off.
Yeah, what is it, like a 13-year difference?
I don't know how old they are.
I want to say Dan's maybe like 36 and Drew's 22, so it's 14-ish years.
Sure. Math.
Speaking of math,
this was a math game. That's what I heard.
Yeah, there's two numbers that were in the final score.
Two numbers were in the final score, at least.
Mm-hmm. Do you remember what my guess was last? Did I guess 5-1 in the?
I don't think so. I think you said 5-3.
Oh, damn it!
But I mean, to be fair, spoiler, I don't think we were expecting Lou to struggle as much as he did.
Yes, we had a Trevor Plouffe situation. Yeah,
to go over is crazy.
Yeah.
But there's a lot to talk about in this game, so do you want to just straight up go burning?
Let's go burn. I got a quick burn for you today.
Quick burn.
The guys in green go for an all-inclusive stay against Del Caribe. And just a dab will do ya as Lou looks dominant to shut Hookline out in the first. After shutting down Del Caribe, the Sinkers explode for 5 runs, taking advantage of a shaky Joe's outing. He avoids the shutout by mashing a big McFly, but it's not enough, and Hookline Sinkers takes this one 5-1. Yeah, Big McFly. I like Big McFly. Hopefully Joe's hits more of those.
Big McFly. Yeah. I love Joe's hitting home runs. It just looks so effortless.
He loves that spot. Like when he takes a middle pitch.
Yeah.
The other way, it looks really good. He's got kind of like an A-Rod swing.
He loves hitting the warehouse sign.
Yeah. So first, before we dive into like the inning by inning, I just want to say after watching post game, everyone. This is the week of people being rude to Joe's.
Yeah, it is.
I love how confident he was still after being shit talked by everyone in the warehouse about like, oh, Joe's still not great in the mound. He's like, I felt pretty good up there. But he looks better than he usually does. I think even Drew gave him credit. Like that,
I was waiting to say it. Yeah, I was waiting to say it. I think Joe's didn't do that bad on the mound.
I think comparatively to what he's been.
If you compare him to Trevor, yeah, he was fucking awful. If you compare him to Jack, he was awful.
Right, which I think was everyone in the warehouse is doing.
If you compare Joe's to Joe's, he said it in the postgame.
Yeah.
He topped out at like 38 last year. Yeah. He topped out he was hitting 60. His first pitch was 68 miles an hour.
Right.
And it was his first at-bat as a pitcher. And we'll talk about this later. His first at-bat as a pitcher, he was all over the zone. Like he was missing the zone, but it really wasn't by enough where somebody like realistically could take a swing at it.
Yeah. Which they ended up doing later on. Like they were taking he's actually hitting the zone. Okay, maybe let's start swinging. And his stuff isn't like good enough to get past some good hitters, but
he did well.
There's growth there.
I legitimately think that he did a good job pitching. Like he leveled up quite a bit. Is he good enough to be considered like not a weakness on the mound for the team anymore? No, but he did a lot better. And it needs to be talked about. He needs to get his flowers for that.
Yeah, so I'm glad he came to his own defense and be like, I don't know, I thought I did it right. It's still like the round robin, or not round robin, but it's still like the round that doesn't matter so much. It's almost like the practice round right now. So he can get away with like getting some reps, and maybe he threw a little more pitches than he wanted to, but
just a little
bit,
just a little bit.
But Lou looks great.
Lou looks
really great on the mound, not at the plate.
I don't know what happened. Like at the plate, it was crazy because it wasn't like he was uncharacteristically swinging like we saw Trevor in the last game. Mm-hmm. It was just really, really soft contact.
Yeah, it was Drew Sinkers. They're good. They're really good pitches.
Drew's a really good pitcher, guys. I don't know if you know it, but we'll go into innings now. We could skip, I think, the entire first inning.
Yeah, I mean, that is true. But I do want to say before we skip is like, it's kind of crazy that Lou the hitter, he worked so much on pitching that he looks like if you just came into this tournament, you'd be like, oh, Lou's pitcher first, and then maybe he'll figure out the bat later. But he looks really good. He's got those 2 arm slots. He has like the straight over the top. He's got the new El Duque kick, and his Drew imitation submarine is really working for him.
Yeah. Every year I like Lou more and more as a character. Mm-hmm. Like he just seems like a great guy. It's so funny. I'm sure you feel the same way.
No.
Game time Lou and post game Lou are 2 different people.
Oh yeah.
Game time Lou having a blast, great time, making jokes, smiling the whole time. Post game Lou, straight faced, clearly upset.
Yeah.
Like
post game Lou is almost
happy.
like a post game Yankees loss Giancarlo Stanton. Just like taking full accountability is very serious.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, I love mid-game Lou. Even when he's not playing, like I'm thinking of after Goodfellas got knocked out in Ball and Play, he is dancing like a motherfucker and behind, like by the bleachers over there. He's having the time of his life.
I love it. I love Lou. I really do. Lou's a really great guy. Mm-hmm. I wanted him to do really well, and on the mound, he did. His pitching looks so much better than it did last.
He's really got it figured out, and he's topping out the speed at like 68, 69 when he's throwing those over the top fastballs. His sinker's got a really good vertical movement. Looks awesome.
Sinkers always throw me off, dude.
Yeah, especially because there's so many shapes you could do it with the Blitzball. It just depends if you just change your arm angle a little bit.
Well, it's that, and just like hearing somebody be like, "Oh, and he throws a sinker," I'm expecting like the movement of a fork ball.
Right.
Every time, and that's not the case.
These ones go up and down, like they're like a roller coaster.
Yeah, roller coasty.
Roller coasty.
Roller coasty. That's Lou's new pitch, the roller coasty. But he gets 3 strikeouts in the first, a walk and a hit. But like at the end of the day, it doesn't hurt him.
Yeah. Well, but it's if this is a win or go home game, the strikeouts almost do hurt him because he needs to get some soft contact to get Joe's.
Yeah, and I think people are going to start learning that and figuring that out.
Yeah.
At the moment, it's kind of just like, hey, any out works. But even then, and I don't remember if I texted you about this or if I wrote it in my notes. Soft contact ground ball to Joe's doesn't necessarily give you that advantage because how many times this rude? How many times have we seen Joe's botch an easy ground ball?
We've been there to see it in person before.
To be very fair, it's very hard to field the ground. Trevor makes it look incredibly easy.
Yeah, and Joe's doesn't have like this super athletic core that Drew does. Like Drew is crazy. He, like Dan says, he's a vacuum. Like, and he's just like he's literally double the age of Drew. He's not going to get down and like roll around on the floor for these ground balls, and that's totally fair.
I don't know if he's literally double the age of Drew.
He might be. I think Joe's is like 40. Drew's basically 20.
38, isn't he?
You could round up and round down to make it double.
In his 30s. You're being very rude. I thought I was going to be the one being rudest to Joe's today. That's unbelievable.
We're being nice to Joe's today. He looks great for 40.
We're being nice. It's his birthday yesterday. Did you wish him a happy birthday? It's your MO. 2024 is the year Brendan does not wish people happy birthday.
I started with Peter. I'm not wishing a single fucking person happy birthday, but you all better wish me happy birthday. July 31st, Harry Potter's birthday. Be there. Be ready.
Harry Potter's birthday. Brendan has famously put out on Twitter, "You're only his friend if you buy him a birthday present."
Yeah, I don't care if you wish me happy birthday. That's bullshit still. I want to see presents on the front door. Packages.
He wants it to be Christmas in July.
That's what I want. That's what I want. Is that too much to ask for?
Season sound bites.
I've even gotten anything sent to us from our fans, so I think it's about time.
From our fan?
From our fan.
we got nothing. But so I mean, like.
Oh yeah, the soft contact.
The soft contact. Joe's isn't necessarily a guaranteed out. Like you see, I would say, rude again, but 99% of the other guys in this tournament are, at least over 50% chance of they'll make this play.
Mm-hmm. And have to
like you'll see people like Dan Canobio. He's botched slow rollers before.
Some people have like the yips in there.
It does happen.
Yeah,
I think Zoe has done it once or twice.
Yeah. And like, it's also difficult to just be like, oh, you know what? My pitches are working great right now. Let me dumb myself down as a pitcher and like make sure they hit the ball. Because then if you try to knock over the strikeout, you might end up getting hit. instead of just like, how do you go from Lou being the guy who's like, oh, my pitches are working for strikeouts now, let me, I guess, throw it more towards the middle of the plate and trying to do. It's hard to induce a slow ground ball on purpose in this sport.
It's hard to induce soft contact at all. I mean, like there's times where you and I have played and like you hit it off the thin part of the bat and it goes a mile.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And they're playing on like a concrete floor, so there's nothing to slow it down.
Like I think that you can't really change anything.
You just gotta stay with your
sport's
game plan.
not. Yeah, the sport's not. The science isn't there enough for to be like, oh, all I need to do is this. Maybe start throwing good knuckleballs. You'll be fine.
Yeah, yeah. But you don't want to change up your.
That's even harder.
Too much.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, what Del Caribe? Whoa.
Oh, you like the rhyme?
No. I think it's just the first time I think it's the first time I said Del Caribe in this review.
I thought you were amazed that you said it without saying Del Caribe.
Del Caribe.
Like, oh, I said it right.
I don't want to be associated with those fucking. I just go take a hard stance of being an asshole today. No, I think it's the first time. Or they're not there yet. They're not there yet to be a threat. I think. It's hard. If Joes and Lou don't start scoring in that first inning, it's hard to ever say, yes, I think that Del Caribe can win the game.
Yeah, you want to be confident in having like put up a 5 spot so that if in case Joes has to pitch, you don't fall behind.
Here's a thought exercise for you. Mm-hmm. If Del Caribe starts batting, puts up a 5 spot in the first inning, do you pitch Joes in the first?
Oh, so they're the away team. They just put up 5. Yeah, that's okay. I like that. I think anytime you can get it out of the way. That's why a lot of times I think like if you go into the second inning tied, like, well, let's get this shit out of the way, and hopefully it works in our favor where we can now be ahead, and we completed Joe's 2 outs. But yeah, I think the earlier you can get it done, in that way, even if you start him in the first, up 5-0, and he's only able to get 1 out, and it starts to get messy, you can take him out. Like, all right, we'll save your second out for next inning, and hopefully it's a little bit easier for you with clear bases again. Right, because I'm unsure of how.
I think like what if say theoretically they put up 5 in the first, the other team puts up max, and then max and max, so it ends 10-10, right? It just goes straight to a swing off.
Yeah.
If that's the case, I think that if you have already hit the max, just put Joes in, and then if they hit the max, that's fine. It's a 1-inning game anyways.
Yep. Totally.
Like there's no point in. Oh, I'm sorry. What I meant to say was I don't know what it would be like if you put up the max. Say you put up 5 in the first inning.
Sure.
The other team puts up 4. Then you put up 5 again. Does the other team just automatically lose, or do they get like some kind of opportunity?
There was definitely a rule in the past for this.
In Blitzball 1, you had to score. If you like, say you were up by 6 runs against me, if I scored 1 run before I got an out, because that was back when it was only 2 outs,
right?
Then I could just keep going.
So
but if I got 1 out first, or something. I don't know what it is, but if there is some kind of rule like that, I think pitching Joes after you put up the maximum is the only real way for him to be a viable option on the mound in this tournament.
Yeah, no matter what, you just want him to feel safest and have the biggest buffer going into an inning. So right. I think that's the idea. That's why they usually throw in their second guys, their backup pitchers, with nobody on base. It's kind of like you want to bring in a reliever with nobody on. And the only guys that are coming in with men on are the guys that are some of your higher leverage guys.
Exactly. Exactly. But Lou is disgusting. Lou's put himself up there too. If he could keep this up, I think there's a real case for him to be the Cy Young this year. Yeah.
I mean, if he just goes right back to being himself at the plate too, he could have another MVP type season.
Yeah.
He's got to flip the switch now.
Yeah. He does need to flip the switch now. But then you go to the other inning and it's like, it almost felt, or the bottom of the first, it almost felt rude of me to forget how good Drew and Dan are at pitching. Like we've heard teams be like 1A, 1B in terms of ranking people. Like, this is truly a 1A, 1B situation for who's the ace of this team. Like, it's
Right.
obviously Drew, but Dan is really he's
People
better than
have a
some
hard
of
time
the
with
number
the,
one
with the
pitchers.
lefty.
Yeah, he's better than some of the number one pitchers on some of these other teams.
Yeah, like people say like maybe 1A, 1B for Lovey's also, but I don't feel like they're nearly as good as a duo as Hookline Sinkers are on the pitching
Are you
side of
saying that
things.
because of the post game?
Yeah, because they
Dalton
mentioned that
said
too.
it.
They're like
Yeah.
1A, 1B. Like, I don't know. I feel like there's more of a case for even like McFlurry Power is a couple of good pitchers. But this is what's fun about this tournament too, is that you do have some teams, like a handful of maybe around half, that both have pitchers, and they don't have to deal with the puzzle of getting their guy in there as much. But the other half of the teams do have to work around the 2-out rule, and it's fun to see how they attack it. So I like the fact that not everyone has like perfectly built teams.
But it was also weird to hear Peter and Chris talk about Dan as if Dan is not like one of the better pitchers in this tournament.
Yeah,
because they were like, "Yeah, you're just gonna have Dan go in against Joe's because he can't really face Lou." And I was like, "What are you guys?"
I think they're forgetting
about?
it. And after they watched it and they did the post game for, like the pregame for Lovey's, they like were giving him more flowers. Like, oh yeah, because he can have such a dirty four seam type fastball because it's got like rise and run, but the fact that it goes away from so many righties is just such a different look. And then he's got that Andy Pettit curveball that he'll drop in like once in at bat, and it's like, oh boy, I forgot that pitch exists.
Yeah.
It just he's got the shape. His shapes of pitches are different than anyone else in the warehouse.
Triangles.
They're triangles. Everybody else has got squares.
Squares. Got him.
Fucking squares.
Brendan's calling everybody a turkey this year. That's his new thing. But yeah, first inning ends 0-0, which is, I mean, kind of surprising to me. I feel like because you saw Lou get out twice, you know. Drew got the 2 putouts in the field where he was apologizing to Dan because he was getting which was also weird to me because I was like, yeah, Drew's a better pitcher, but like, it's not like you're stealing an out from someone like Marshall, who's never pitched in the warehouse before, or Jimmy that's in his head a lot, or Joe's, who really isn't like, he doesn't have it.
Yeah, I think it's just because it's a new rule, and they're like, oh, you know what, I should have let you get that so that we have this option. But I think it's more just the rules in their head, and I think after it happened, they're like, but it doesn't really matter because we're not that kind of team.
It was weird though, seeing that Drew only get 1 strikeout in this game, and it came in the second inning. That was weird to see, just from like an optics standpoint.
Yeah, that's true.
But we'll go into the second. I mean, because we talked about it. Lou, the big story of the first inning is Lou not being who he is. We'll go straight into the second inning. You think anything changed, Brendan?
Maybe. We'll see what this turkey does in the mound.
Turkey. Joe's trots up to the mound.
Thanksgiving episode.
And first pitch, 68 miles an hour. We talked about this already.
Yeah.
If you read my notes, I am very bullish on Joe's as a pitcher, saying, hey, this is kind of like how we saw Zoe in Blitzball Battle 3 when he first took the mound. Like, there's potential here for Del Caribe to actually like win. It's still so weird for me to say that instead of Pinstripe Strong.
Yeah.
But it's all right.
It'll get there.
I like it.
I'm used to saying Guardians now. It took me a couple years, but
years?
Took me a little bit.
Was last year not the first year that they were the Guardians?
I thought 22 was.
Wow. I can't remember shit. I don't pay attention to any baseball team but the Yankees, to be honest.
I only really pay attention to the Guardians.
Brendan only pays attention to the Guardians. He was a big fan of the name change. And then we see in this first at-bat against Dan, and I'm only really going to cover this first at-bat because after this it's, a walk parade.
Yeah.
Not every at-bat, but it eventually becomes what it is. I wrote straight up, I was bullish on Joe's. I thought that he was going to be well. I thought he was going to do what Zoe did. I thought he is not as much of a liability, which I still don't think he's as much of a liability. But he needs to sustain it for more than one batter because you saw Dan popped a ball up foul that Joe's couldn't hold on to.
Yeah. That's that stays in his hands, this is a different game. Maybe he
Yeah.
has more confidence after he has one out. They don't get another chance.
Right.
You know.
That at bat, I know it's not the at bat that Peter said was like the pivotal at bat,
Yeah.
where Peter was like, "Oh, whoever wins this at bat wins the game," and I think Drew walked.
He did.
But I think that at bat, that next pitch, where like, hey, if Joe's makes up for this out, then Del Caribe may win this game.
Mm-hmm.
If he allows anything else, Hookline's probably going to win. And literally the next pitch, Dan drills a double that was so close to being a home run.
Yeah. It just needs to be a little higher.
It just needs to be a little bit higher. And like that was the moment where, and you saw it, where Joe's was still getting movement on his pitches. He was still adding velocity, like keeping his velocity up, but he was not finding the zone at all.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you get a walk. Dan hits another double that scores in a run. Then there was a single down the line that scores a run. Lou comes in to strike out Dan, but it's like, that's it. Joe's is in for the rest of the game
he's
now.
stuck there. It's got to be a little bit of a helpless feeling like, all right, now Lou has just exhausted all of his outs. Joe's now has to complete these or they're going to max out. Those are two bad options.
And he doesn't.
Yeah.
He doesn't. Straight up doesn't. He just, it's walk, 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 walk. Literally in that order.
Yeah.
To give Hookline the maximum.
So what it looked like to me too was in this inning, Joe's, like you said, looked good. Like he had stuff, and this was what he was saying in the post game. He felt like he had stuff. When he was throwing his best, he couldn't control, I think, his new speed and his new curveball at the top of their speed and movement. So then what he was doing was slowing them down, and that's when they became way too hittable. Right. So, but I think that even is still a step up because in the past he was throwing fastballs super slow and the curveballs that were just big loopers, and those weren't even coming close to the zone. So now at least the slower versions of them are in the zone. Now they're just too hittable. He just needs to work on getting the pitches that are at their top speed somewhere near the strike zone and kind of emulate like a Dan Rourke of being like effectively wild, but will be in the strike zone enough to be a threat.
Right. Yeah, I agree with you. It was sad though. And it wasn't like, I feel like in the past when we've seen Joe's have these pitching meltdowns, it's kind of like, kind of funny.
Yeah.
In this one, it was sad because it was like, fuck, dude, you showed so much potential at the beginning.
Yeah.
Like, you've gotten, so we've all seen from the start of you being in these tournaments or in any Blitzball type video, we've seen how much better you've gotten since then. And just like nothing.
Yeah.
It was so sad. I didn't like watching it. I didn't like seeing the what was it, 4 runs in a row where Joe's let in the last 3 to put them at the max. You saw Lou give up, straight up give up, being like, yeah, hey, we'll just get you some reps and then we'll go on to the next game.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing because you don't have to worry about a team being eliminated before the playoffs now.
Yeah.
But like, I wanted him to get just one out.
Yeah,
so
I guess
badly.
the good thing though is at least he doesn't seem defeated about this at all. So at least his confidence is not shot. I don't think it was like other meltdowns where he's like, I got nothing. This was more just like, all right, this isn't working right now, but I know what I could build on from here. So
his confidence isn't shot partially because of the next inning, which we'll get into. Not the first at bat because it was a first pitch. Joe's hit one straight to Drew, who fielded it cleanly. First pitch out. And it's like, oh, that's it. Lou strikes out bad. It did not look good.
Yeah.
With this strikeout, he was chasing big time.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, what the fuck is going on? And then Joe's cranks a home run, and it's like, okay, at least there's something positive to come from this game for Del Caribe.
Yeah. Exactly.
Oh, that they were getting perfect games before that.
No way, really? I did
not
not realize that.
Because it was a 1-2-3 first inning, then an out to Joe's, and then a strikeout. Yeah.
That's crazy. I mean, this is good, though. This is great for Joe's because there's been times in this series, or not this series, but like this warehouse game series, I guess, that Joe's has looked inept on both sides. So I think this also shows growth. The fact that he's the only one that produced any offense, it probably feels a little bit better for him coming out of this game. I like the stats on the screen that said like Del Caribe's all-time leader in home runs, RBIs, and hits. Like, it's true. He's got one of each.
That's funny.
It is funny.
I guess Lou is leading him in walks
Yeah.
because he gets walked in the next at bat. And then Drew faces Joe's towards the end, which is another benefit to having two pitchers because they split the outs. They got 3 and 3.
It's huge. I looked at your pitch count that you clocked in, and like that's a great pitch count for these two guys. That's the benefit of being able to split time evenly. And like they're going to really have fresh arms for a lot of this tournament, like fresher arms than other teams are going forward.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Drew comes in at the end. Dan lets up a home run. He wanted to get the 4 outs this game.
Mm-hmm.
Lets up a home run. He's like, fuck it. Drew, just finish this game for us, please.
Mm-hmm.
We can't let them get momentum. And then Drew, who, I mean, it feels rude to not talk about this. He leveled up his pitching as well because he has never looked as good as he's looked in this game.
Yeah.
Joe's like could not see fucking shit from Drew.
Mm-hmm.
It was crazy. Everything he did. I think Drew struck him out on 3 pitches that were the exact same pitch in the exact same spot, and Joe's swung over them 3 times.
Yeah, that's like the beauty of these guys' sinkers. Like I guess between Lou and Drew having similar arsenals right now.
Yeah.
The two of them induce so much swing and miss, and if anything, weak contact because those sinkers are in the perfect spot every time. It's not an accident that they're making sure these pitches start at the very bottom of the zone and dip out of it. They have their release down perfectly to a point where it ends in an unhittable spot, these pitches, but it looks good for so long.
I don't know if it was as much as it looks good because I do think that Drew was trying to not give him anything to hit because Joe's, if Joe's gets anything, he's a threat. Like Joe's absolutely demolishes the ball for whatever reason. It never looks like he should be, but he always does.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like 3 pitches that ended up, I don't think any of them hit the strike zone, and they came inside on Joe's. He strikes out. It was kind of like, I was just kind of like, I don't even feel right about cheering for that. But Hookline Sinkers win 5-1 against Del Caribe in kind of what felt expected, but also like, I don't know. Like, there's this weird feeling about it where I love Drew, I love Dan. It almost feels like they got lucky in the fact that Lou didn't show up to hit.
Mm-hmm.
Joe showed us that he can pitch well and just like didn't. It feels weird. It almost feels like watching the high school varsity team beat the 7th grade boys baseball team. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I guess it's because everyone expected Hookline Sinkers to win. And usually when that happens, like maybe the underdogs will surprise you with something. And almost what was expected to happen fully happened, which never happens.
It's never fun. It's never fun to see that happen.
Yeah,
right?
like, I thought we were going to get some more fight from the underdogs.
Yeah. Like you go into Yankees versus Oakland A's, and the Oakland A's ahead of time are like, by the way, we're only playing AAA guys.
Yeah.
And then the Yankees win the first game 15-0.
It's like,
as a Yankee fan, you're not even like, wow, great game. You're kind of just like,
didn't really accomplish anything.
Why didn't we just take like a forfeit or something?
Mm. Yeah.
But congratulations, Hookline Sinkers. We don't want to take away our excitement for you.
No,
it was a great win. It was incredibly dominating pitching performance. I mean, 36 pitches thrown total between the two of them.
I mean, we've seen Dan in Blitzball Blitz look amazing all tournament long, and then just get really tired at the end. So I think this is something to look out for is the pitch count. If Dan can keep that down, he can be one of the better pitchers in this tournament and not exhaust his arm.
Yeah, only throwing 14 pitches for 3 outs is crazy.
Yeah,
and he did a great job there. But let's move on, okay? You good with that?
Yeah, it's very serious.
It came out very funny the way that I said that. I don't know what it is with like I meant to say it in not like a serious way. That's why I added the K.
I was like, crazy episode from last one. I just want to say we are so serious and so analytical, and we're really going piece by piece and doing a good job. We're doing a great job today.
Yeah, we're doing great. Pat yourself.
It's really. I say I don't like it.
No, I don't like it at all. It's been in my head, Brendan. This entire episode, I'm like, we're not making enough jokes. This is not a
but
fun
I'm also
one.
into what we're talking about, though.
Yeah,
There's
I mean
no room
at
for
the end of the
jokes.
day, that's why we started this, right? Like just to have serious conversations about this. And I do feel like it gets lost sometimes in the jokes that we make, but we do we do have serious conversations. We care a lot. Player of the game.
Blur the game.
I'm the player of the game. No, I'm gonna give the player of the game to Dan Canobio.
Wow.
We talked about it. Amazing pitching. Only let up one hit. You know, he got two of his 3 outs were on strikeouts. The other one was on a grounder to Drew, or was it a grounder? I can't remember. It was to Drew. End of the day.
Yeah.
He let up the 1 run to the Joe's home run, which is, it's fine.
Yeah.
14 pitches. Very, very efficient pitcher. But the real strength was the fact that he got 2 doubles and a single at 5 at bats, 2 more walks, 3 RBIs. He, in a tournament where it feels like we've seen Jack falter on the mound. We've seen Trev falter on the mound and at the plate. We've seen Lou not show up at the plate. In this tournament where everything seems kind of topsy-turvy at the moment, and we know it'll change, but Dan showed up and was Dan Canobio. He was what we were expecting. A above-average hitter and an above-average pitcher. And he didn't leave anything behind. There was no rust to shake off. He was in mid-season form.
Yeah.
So with that, he has to get the player of the game. He did an amazing job.
Love it. He did. He's it's amazing. Again, we keep talking about this, but to have 2 players in your team that are above average on both sides of the ball is huge. And I think sometimes it gets lost on people how good Dan can be. We haven't seen him play in the roulette league level yet since then,
Right?
But he had some really, really hard hits in this game. Like we've seen some teams like Baggage hit pretty well, but they're really just kind of sprinkling the ball all over the field. But these hits that Dan had today looked dominant, and were just a few feet away from being like really hard hit home runs. I think in the future I do want to see, like they talked about it in the pregame for this one. Dan needs to learn how to hit the ball outside the other way. He didn't have to in this game, but I'm excited to see him pitch or see better pitching. I guess a better pitching team. Because he saw Lou, who looked great,
Right.
But I'm excited for him to see a duo of pitchers, like maybe like a McFlurry Power or somebody like that he is forced to not just take inside balls.
Yeah.
To pull direction.
I mean, to be fair, he did get a hit off Lou.
Yeah.
It was a single, but a hit's a hit.
Yeah.
Dan said before the tournament, or I should say before the game in the pregame show, and then in the postgame show as well, that he's fully embracing, like, he wants to be a heel this year. He's sick of coming in second. He's sick of coming in third. He's been getting too close and not winning. And honestly, I feel like if everybody's form stays the same as it is now, Hookline may be in the final or winning the whole thing.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
So far, I think I've seen only 2 teams that I don't think can win the whole thing. Mm-hmm. And that being
Del Caribe.
Del Caribe, and at the moment, Baggage.
Yeah.
Which is weird to say.
Yeah.
But I just have too much faith in Marshall and Trevor putting it together.
I'll spoil a little bit of my preview for later, but I feel like on top of Hookline, the other team that I like a lot is McFlurry.
Yeah.
Those are the 2 underdogs.
Well, let's move this along so we can get there.
Okay.
Play of the game.
Play the game.
It's still so funny.
It's obviously funny because everybody's laughing.
I know.
My play of the game, it was kind of a tough one for play of the game because there's no like real pivotal moment in this one. So I'm going to go with like an actual like web gem type play in being Drew's ground ball catch. fun to see just a guy like make a good play. It looked easier than it probably was. He gets down and dirty with it. If you just put your hands down there, it might pop off your hands. It's smart of him to like really get down and grab and like bring up to his chest, like full baseball style. And that's how you need to play defense in this warehouse if you want to make sure like, those balls on the ground that are catchable speed are so important to grab because you cannot afford to give up extra outs in this.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah,
I thought you were going to do when Drew was pitching against Lou, when Lou hit a chopper that originally looked like it was going to go to Drew's left, and he started to go left, and then he jumped back right, kind of like a fish when you're fishing. Like it jumps out of the water and curves back that way. Mm-hmm. That's what Drew the Fish Davis.
Drew the Fish Davis.
Drew the Fish Davids.
Drew the Davids fish.
David drew a fish.
With a mustache.
with a mustache.
They were talking shit about his mustache in this game.
Remember when we were too serious before?
I remember. We're back, baby. We're talking about
they
fish
were
and
talking shit about his mustache.
I think Chris Rose gave it a 4 out of 10. I'd go more like 6 out of 10.
It's fine.
Maybe it's gotten better since. Mustache is not a mustache, Peter.
Mustaches are mustaches, dude.
Have you ever grown just a mustache?
Maisie Peters has a song. I have pictures. I'll show you. Maisie Peters has a song that we listened to yesterday. Kristen and I were fucking dying. She has a song called Guy on a Horse. And we were like, how could she be working this one in? Right? Because Maisie Peters now has become Kristen's like second favorite artist behind Halsey.
Thanks to BBD.
Thanks to BBD. Let me see. I got to find this. I had a mustache.
So how does Maisie Peters relate to Drew Davis and his mustache fish?
I need to say something while I'm looking for a picture of me with a mustache.
Oh, okay. This is totally just out there. Okay.
This is literally just fillers.
Yeah, okay. Well, but you never kept them, right? This is more just when you're shaving and you just want to take a funny picture?
Yeah. It's more when I'm shaving. I used to shave.
But you have enough facial hair where you could go around public with a mustache.
Listen, every November I tell Kristen, let me participate in Movember. Yeah. And she said, if you're okay with going a whole month without kissing me, sure. And I was like, fuck. I love my wife too much. Mm-hmm. Who we're famously not getting divorced.
I should take that deal with Nicole because we haven't kissed in the past 3 months anyway, so I might as well grow a mustache. That's a really good one. You got to look at the YouTube to see Peter
this one too.
Shirtless with a mustache. Oh, that's a good dad one.
That's a really... Well, did you read what it said?
Dad likes to read and is upset with you. That's a guy that's obviously handsome.
This one's great. This one's great.
It looks like these must have been all taken within 30 seconds of each other.
It was all on December 24th, 2015. and I was just like, let's rapid fire send it to the boys.
I like them.
But in the song, she says, we were like, how could this relate? How could this be turned into a song? Guy on a horse. What a weird title. And she literally just says, I'm Joan of Arc. You're a guy on a horse.
Simple as that.
Kristen and I started laughing and skipped the song.
Okay, that's enough of that.
Okay, we figured it out. But yeah,
next
fish,
game.
Maisie Peters,
mustache,
BBD mustache. Send us your phone number.
We gotta keep bothering people about that.
Somebody needs Drew. Send us your phone number.
Or maybe you should be the player of the game every week.
Dan Canobio, because you won player of the game, send us your phone number.
And we'll send you back messages of us after we shave. Before we get rid of the mustache, we'll send you mustache pics.
We'll send you our mustaches in pictures. One hair at a time.
One hair at a time. That's how they grow.
And now, the next game, Love Yous versus McFlurry Power. Our first time this tournament previewing a game that hasn't happened yet, huh?
Yeah, we're catching up, guys.
We're getting there. Hey, give us the applause, Brendan.
This one?
Oh,
there we go.
Do you still have the hot take sound?
It's on the computer somewhere, but I don't have it loaded up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking about that. Well, no, I was just thinking about it earlier. I was going to say that I have a hot take, when
And
we
make one
first
up.
started recording, and then I realized that you and I share. It was with Joe's pitching, saying that it wasn't.
Oh, we started off by having the same exact thought.
And I was like, not a hot take anymore.
Like,
Can't do it.
we're both coming to his defense.
Yeah. Love Yous versus McFlurry Power, a game that I think will be the first high scoring game. I know I've been saying this every game, where I've been saying that everybody, we're gonna get tons of runs, more than 5 runs scored by one team in a game, which we only really got in the first game. With
The first game was like tricked us because I thought the whole tournament was going to be like that, and then we have a lot of the past 2 games in a row, like a lot of shutout innings.
But even in the first game, going into it, I know we didn't say it on a recording because we didn't do like a preview episode.
Mm-hmm.
I was not expecting Woogas to put up 6. And then in every game since, I've been like, one of these teams is going to fucking score 12 runs.
Yeah.
Computer, that's not possible.
I guess the way they score runs, if it did go to extras at like 9 or 10, say hit a home run, they count it as like 4 runs.
Yeah,
so,
but I don't know. That doesn't sound.
Yeah, I know what you mean, though. No, but it was probably great for the tournament, honestly, that the first game was the game it was.
Yeah.
If the first game was a baggage game, it might have not been great for the tournament, view-wise.
You're right. I think you're right. I think people would be like, they're getting too good at this, and they're not like putting up numbers like they used to.
Yeah. So
that's a really good point. But Love Yous versus McFlurry, I think that you said it before a little bit. You think McFlurry is a dark horse to win the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Love Yous are going to come back in. We saw Dalton's defense in ball and play. Realistically speaking, the defense shouldn't be that much different in Blitzball. Like I know it will be, but it shouldn't be like that much different for me to not take into account the ball and play defense.
Sure.
Dalton's very spry, very quick on his feet.
Yep.
And he has very sure hands.
Right.
So that's a huge plus. Nicky's coming off of probably his most disappointing Blitzball tournament yet. Looking to rebound. He's always been a good
just because
pitcher.
he looked so dominant in the regular season last time. Before
he won Cy Young last time, right?
Yeah.
Like he won Cy Young. He looked amazing in Blitz. He looked amazing.
Yeah.
Nicky's going to come back. He's going to be a great pitcher that he is. He's going to be the great hitter that he is. Dalton is a hits machine as well. And then McFlurry comes in, right? K-Mac told us Colin has been like starting his own league. Yeah. He's been playing Blitzball a lot more. K-Mac has...
Without that information, I would feel much less confident about this team. But knowing Colin, who's always had potential, and now is like, oh, he's like supposed to be good at this, and he's been trying like crazy.
Right.
And K-Mac's now coming off of a championship. That attitude changes you.
He's like fully he's in warehouse mode all the time now, it seems.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if this game ended up being 10-10 going to a swing off. Mm-hmm. I don't think that's going to happen, but I don't think it would surprise me. I think that this game will go 7-6 Love Yous.
Okay.
That's what I think.
I think just because K-Mac hinted at a new pitch, and hopefully Colin Stone will be the pitcher he's supposed to be, and maybe even start to sprinkle in some hits, I'm going to give it to McFlurry Power. I'm going to give it 8-3. McFlurry
Whoa!
Power. Yeah, they're going to shut him down. I've seen Nicky be shut down at the plate before, and I think maybe these guys can do it.
This game, we just confirmed that this game is going 0-0 to a swing off.
Pretty much.
That's pretty much what happened.
There you go.
We got too excited, guys. Sorry, that's our fault.
That's it. This game's 15-14 in overtime.
This game 105-32. Oh, that's not a good. That's not even close to what we did.
Why do I listen to this show? Really dumb.
Yeah. It's going to be a good game regardless, I think.
Yeah. I'm excited to watch it.
What happens.
Being caught up in a way that I don't have to watch it the next day because I haven't recorded this show yet.
Right, exactly.
So hopefully it's Sunday night, 8 o'clock. Let's see if I can like watch live
Sunday night,
for the first time.
8 o'clock. I'm
Actually, I
definitely
watched
not
the
gonna
first one live when I was visiting my sister. I made my sister's boyfriend and his brother watch.
You have a sister?
I have a sister. I have a few of them.
You collect them.
I collect them. This is my prized possession. This particular sister. But we watched it in South Carolina when I was visiting them, and they're like, "What is this?" I was like, well, I explained what it was, and they're like, "Wow, I can't believe this production is crazy." Like, yeah, it's nuts. Like, it used to be a lot smaller, and they've gotten it to a point where it looks extremely professional and crisp and clean and so colorful and nice.
I mean, what we were talking about, I can't remember if it was on the podcast or in text messages. Like, Nicole's fully in now, right?
Yeah, like I was like, I have to watch this now just because of like the way my schedule works. She's like, all right, no problem. Like, I'll go watch it on my own later on. Like, even if she can't watch with me because she's somewhere else, she'll like catch up before the next game.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I think ball and play Captain's League really got her in.
Yeah, I mean, I've talked about it. Ball and play is my favorite, but Blitzball's also very fun.
Yeah.
Brendan, what should people be drinking?
You can drink Subtle Teas, the drink made by me. You can get deliveries to your doorstep. Use code HoppyBoys for $2 off at checkout for a 12-pack. Hoppy Boys is my other podcast where we talk about beer. Just recorded another episode of Malt Madness. That'll be coming out the first Thursday in March. We'll have an episode a week for 5 weeks in a row. So check out the whole tournament where we do a March Madness style bracket full of beers and some non-beers. The non-beers is famously a green beer. The other day we were in the car driving to the Beano Ball tournament, so it was me, Nicole, Gagan, and Chris driving up there. And then Gagan we were talking about Chris's bracket coming up, and Gagan's like, "My bracket's green. What color are your drinks?" Chris is like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
What is he doing? What does that mean?
Because me and Brian made that non-alcoholic bracket, all green drinks, between matcha, green tea, Baja Blast, Mountain Dew. The can of Sprite and Starry are green. So we made a stupid theme because I realized that half the drinks I had started to put in the bracket were green. I was like, oh, let's just keep it going.
That's very funny.
Yeah.
I like that.
My bracket's green. What color is yours? He's like, I guess yellow because beer's yellow. I don't know. So yeah, let's listen to Malt Madness and listen to The Lonely Boys if you like teen dramas. We're the guys you should listen to. Go find us on any podcast app.
Oh, what are the names of those apps you said?
Apple, Spotify mostly, and there's probably some other ones that it sprinkles in.
Apple and Spotify. Digillusion.
And all those have YouTube videos on our channel, which is what, Peter?
The Boys Media channel. I think if you type in Blitzball Battle 4, Blitzball Boys, it'll pop up for sure.
And if you follow us on Twitter, then you can see us repost our links to YouTube and Spotify and Apple.
That's true.
Yeah.
I think about this a lot. We should plug our Twitters. We never do.
I forget because I'm like, oh, well, it's up on the YouTube video, which is like where we have the least of the following.
Yeah. So on YouTube, Brennan is Roop.
Ruppy Puppy, RUPPIE, PUPPIE on Twitter and /X.
I forgot. One of them you don't have the puppy part. And I always forget which one it is. But
not sure.
I'm Peter Posk, PETRPASQ. I'm going to plug my brother, Matthew Del Rey. He's a good boy. I love him so much. Give him a hug and a kiss if you see him. God knows he needs it. I beat Red today, Brendan.
Oh, there you go, baby.
I didn't tell you. It was so hard not to tell you before. I woke up early this morning. I beat Red.
Fuck yeah.
So until I pick another game, play Pokemon Heart Gold, Soul Silver. Watch.
Did you womp his ass or was it tough?
I fucking killed him.
Nice.
It was tough, but it was like only my Skarmory fainted.
Okay. Wow. Pretty good.
MLS is back. Try if you have MLS, if you like soccer, try watching American soccer. We need to grow the game in America. Only way we could do that is get the viewership up for the domestic league. Most of it is on Apple TV. I think some of it's on Fox.
So it's pretty accessible.
You'd think. You have to pay an extra subscription to watch MLS. It's kind of bullshit.
Yeah, it's
total bullshit.
It makes it hard.
But they have some games are on the television. Try and watch it if you can. We need to grow the game in America. Beyond
Marika.
that, Marika, Brendan asked me the question.
You got anything else you want to talk about?
Nope. Bye.
Bye-bye. For the first time, you don't have a